Yes, everyone, what's going on? I don't know why we just had a little Manscaped ad there, but maybe I'll treat you to a little bit of ball-related advertising a little bit later on. But speaking of balls, Jurgen Klopp absolutely raging again as Liverpool crash out to European and world giants Brighton in the FA Cup, and he's had a few interesting things to say. But let's check this one out, right? So, in the midst of him getting knocked out of the FA Cup again. In our tight schedule, I'm not sure the FA Cup should have a weekend match day, but we have it. Is he complaining about having football matches on a weekend? I know he likes to have a whinge at stuff, but football matches at a weekend being an issue seems a whole new level of something to moan at, doesn't it? And also, Trent got hooked and was not happy about getting hooked, but thoroughly deserved to get hooked. And now Liverpool are trying to buy a new right back. So that's an interesting one, isn't it? Let me know what you guys are saying in the comments. But this comes in, basically Liverpool season is over now, right? They've got Real Madrid in the Champions League. There's no way they get past Real Madrid in the form that they're in. I believe they've won 1 out of the 6 matches that they have played in 2023. 1 in 6, which is absolutely abysmal, if you ask me. I'm just going to check how many United have played in that time, because I believe we've played at least the same, if not more, because it feels like we've just got game after game after game after game. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they had 6 games, of which they have lost to Brentford 3-1. They drew with Wolves 2-2. They lost to Brighton 3-0. They then beat Wolves in a replay. Then they drew with Chelsea and lost to Brighton. So the only team that they've beat are Wolves. I'll remind you, Wolves basically rock bottom of the Premier League. And United have had in the same time, it's got to be at least 6. It wouldn't surprise me if it was more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. United have had 8 games. He's moaning about fixture congestion. He's played 2 less games than Manchester United. And I'd also like to bring to everyone's attention as well, the BBC. Not necessarily the bastion of all that is great and true in this country, but it's a good indicator of what everybody was thinking. They asked 23 of their pundits to pick their top 4 at the start of the season. Not one of them had Liverpool finishing outside of the top 2, and 10 of them had Liverpool winning the league. So I don't want to hear that the writing was on the wall for a long time for Liverpool, because that's not what everyone was saying at the start of the season. And Wolves were robbed as well. Thank you very much. Notch says, but Liverpool are allowed to play under 14s when in a fixture jam. Yeah, and that. When's Jurgen Klopp ever going to decide to fight on multiple fronts? Can't be done, can't it? Erik Ten Hag, 6 months into his Manchester United career, with all the shit show that we had with Cristiano Ronaldo, is literally fighting on all 4 fronts and doing a pretty good job in all 4 of those. Dark V says Brighton deserves some credit here. Everyone talks only about the bigger teams, but they're 6th in the league with 2 games in hand on Tottenham. It's a good team. They are a good team. They are a good team. Andy says, Steve, for me, a great manager is someone like Fergie or Wenger who can rebuild teams. Klopp seems more someone who can build a team from scratch, not rebuild. The rebuild thing is massive. Fergie kept United competitive whilst rebuilding. That is voodoo, isn't it? It's absolute voodoo. Glue Stick says, love how Klopp complains whilst Ten Hag just takes no bullshit, doesn't let the scheduling, which is fucked, and the referee decisions be an excuse. Listen, Klopp excuses are well known, well researched, widely spread, and include everything from the humidity of grass to wind. So, it's one of those, isn't it? What do I think of Mitoma as a signing for United? Looked great today. We're not signing anyone. And I find it hard to really get too excited about people in the summer until we know what our owners are going to be, or who our owners are going to be. Darren says, no retained trophies again. I thought they were the greatest team ever. Know what I mean? Retaining a trophy is actually hard work, and he hasn't done that. So they hide behind this phrase of they won everything. It really pissed me off the way that they posed with trophies that they won across 2 seasons, like they did it in the same season. Really fucking annoyed me, that did. Garrett says raging VAR didn't save their skin again. Yep. Notch says Klopp once blamed a defeat on an opposition player getting injured. Wasn't that one of our players that got injured that he blamed that on? King Dino says Klopp moans like Jose. No. He is in a league of his own when it comes to the moaning. Bob says, Steve, you're being harsh on Klopp. Look at all the fixtures last year and he still managed to break in teeth for a camel. TSF says Klopp clearly can't rebuild properly as well. I mean, the thing is, he's not like he's not had signings. He has signed somewhere in excess of like 40 players for that club now. He's been there that long. Every single player, right? Surely? Was Henderson there before him, maybe? If Henderson was the only one, outside of that, he signed all of them. That's his squad. There's no excuse no more. Dexter says, what's the time limit on Klopp quits given he will never be sacked? Liverpool fans are going after their owners now because they only give them £100 million striker in the summer. Don't get that one. Let's not forget the grass being too long, of course. Connor says, when Herrera and Marcus got hurt in the first half, a few years ago. Yeah, I thought that was it. What's my thoughts on Gusto to Chelsea? Seems a bad move for his development, having Reece James in his position. Totally agree. I'm upset with Malo going to Chelsea. One, because I think he'd have been great at United. Same with Enzo Fernandez, by the way. And two, I don't understand how they're going to have 30 first-choice players. I really don't. There's a lot of players' careers going to get twisted up here. And we've seen this happen so many times before. Seen it at Manchester City, seen it at Chelsea, seen it at places where they absolutely hoard players like this. It's not good for the development. You've got to play games. Milner literally blamed the pitch against Wolves. They were at Anfield. Greece says Liverpool seem to have one good season and then one bad season. Weird that. Well, they had a couple of years, didn't they? They probably had 2 or 3 years. I think it might have been 3 seasons where they put up some incredible performances and they were extremely competitive. But it was 3 years. It was 3 years that United essentially took off. And in that whole time of what Klopp did, I think he came second. Oh, I think he finished above United, 3 times maybe in that time? In the last 5 years? We've actually finished above them twice in recent times. And think how bad we are. It's absolutely ludicrous that we finish above them and they're still being lauded. And I did a thread a while ago, maybe about a year ago, maybe 8-9 months ago, where we looked at they're constantly piped off. They're constantly piped off. Yet, every single one of them has been called the best in the world. From the manager to the keeper to every single member of that team has been called the best in the world. Yet, do you know what I mean? Hound says last season they played in every game available for them to play. How can we say Klopp doesn't compete on all fronts? Well, he wasn't competitive in the league, was he? And did he win the cup? What has he retained? He won a League Cup which finished in February. And then, he won the FA Cup. Well done. Whenever he's actually trying to do serious, he phoned the league in towards the end. What did they finish on last season? Let's have a look what they finished with last season. Actually, they finished strong. I'll give them that, actually. They did finish strong in the league, or stronger than they probably could have done in the league. Yeah, they had a pretty good run towards the end. Their last defeat was actually in around Christmas. Yeah, they were more competitive in the league than I thought. But at the end of the day, they didn't fucking win it. So fuck them. You know what I'm saying? It's not Liverpool propaganda channel, so sling it. 2 cups won without a goal in either final. Chat Sport says United won't buy anyone now. No, we won't. Knight says Klopp's tactics revolve around constant pressing with one set of players. No wonder they're all tired and can't manage their minutes like any good manager. Any word on the Eriksen injury? Injury. I haven't heard anything on it at all either. But United get penalties, Steve. Have some sympathy. Not since he said that, we haven't. Honestly. Can't buy a penalty at the moment. It's ridiculous. Liverpool haven't recovered from last season's losses, and Sadio Mane was the main reason. Not really, though. I mean, yes, Mane was an important player on them, but I thought Diaz was the greatest thing ever, Nunes the greatest thing ever. Now they just signed Gakpo, who's absolutely Gakpo. And yes, Mane was a pressing monster. Yes, Mane had a lot of work off the ball, but that still doesn't account for how shit defensively they've been, and especially Trent. And finally, people are starting to wake up to how piss poor Trent is defensively. And it isn't just about being poor defensively. It's a whole defensive attitude that he's absolutely shit with. Adam says, surely we're more attractive to potential buyers if we can guarantee top 4. You would assume so. But that's like asking the Glazers to spend some money is just not going to happen, is it? Mark, the Scousers seem really confident in getting Bellingham this summer for me. Seems to be level-headed and don't want to move to that shit show. Isn't he a Liverpool fan? Bit of a drama if he is, but it's not a guarantee that that's going to be a done deal, because they've got to find the transfer fee to get him in, and they've spent so heavily. It's going to entirely depend on who they get as their owners with what they can spend going forward as well. Wayne Smith says Salah done fuck all since his massive new contract. Well, if you remember, I was saying towards the back end of last season, if Liverpool get rid of Salah this year, that's scary, because I think it means that they're really well run. Does anyone remember me saying this? I thought Salah's peaked and you're not going to get value for money out of that contract. I think, sentiment aside, a really well run club would have been ruthless with that and gone, no, let's go in a different direction. Brian says, along with Phil Jones, McTominay, Maguire, Elanga moving on in the summer, do I think Martial will be sold? Surely his time is up now. Yes, I think he is. Yeah, I think it would be. TSF says they were saying they didn't need Mane last season because Diaz was so good. They was. What was Souness said about it? Love seeing the Scouser struggle. He can't get his tongue when it comes to talk about Liverpool. He'll just blame somebody else. Will me and Rio take the piss out of Joel tomorrow on Vibe with 5? If I'm on it, I'm not sure if I'm on it, because we got to figure out some logistics for it tomorrow, so I might not actually be on it. I don't know yet. Mark says, what do I make of Rashford's offside goal versus Salah's goal versus Wolves? I'm confused by the rule these days. I've got the video of that. I might put it on my Twitter in a bit and see what you guys think, because to me, on the surface of things, it looks identical, and I don't understand how one was given and one isn't, and no one can explain to me otherwise. Raf says, this shows the greatness of Fergie. He showed the door to some mint winners, replaced them. Meanwhile, Klopp wants to give Henderson, Milner new deals. Colin says, it's funny how they think they can sign the top players, even though Werner turned them down for Chelsea. Any academy prospects coming for the number 9 spot? You got Hugo and McNeil, but I think both of them probably need a loan a little bit first. Colin says, haven't heard since they're doing shit and United are winning. I think he's talking about Souness. Klopp made a couple of bad signings lately. It's biting him in the bum. Shouldn't have bought Andy Carroll 2.0. Robert says Brighton are class, need to scoop up whoever manages their transfers. Brighton are showing you the effectiveness of a backroom that knows what it's doing and has got the power to act. So I was reading something the other day which said Brighton have a number for every player, and obviously that number's not public, but Brighton have a number for every player in the team. And until that, if someone meets that number, that player can go. So it's very, very straightforward. It might be 60 million, it might be 70 million, it might be 62.8 million, whatever it is. You put that money on the table, that player is allowed to go, no questions asked. And they are a selling club, but they're also a club that has got the numbers that they want to see for the players that they want to bring in. And they're excellent at doing that. The problem is, I don't know how longer term a strategy that is. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, like, are you mad? Buy low, sell high is the perfect sort of long-term strategy. But a bit like when Manchester United pick the phone up. They go, fucking Manchester United. Tell them more. Add 10 million, add 20 million. Yeah, 100 million. Right? So what's going to happen when Brighton start picking the phone up now for your League One, your League Two player? You go, fucking hell, he must be mint. Brighton only seem to scoop up this sort of level of talent because they've seen something in the numbers. They've done some analysis on him where it shows that this 19-year-old striker, tell him 30 million, fuck it. Because if we keep him, he'll probably be worth even more next season. So it's a great strategy to have, and it's better than having no strategy 100%. But how sustainable is it? If you become known for being a club that's able to scoop up all these bargains, every single player that you're going to go to, if the clubs that you're ringing up are smart, and they should be, they're going to be saying, nah, I don't think so. He's worth more than that. We know he is. You're going to have him, keep him for 18 months, and then sell him to fucking Arsenal for 72 million. We know your game. How would I deal with the situation if I was the manager regarding Caicedo? I would... If a player wants to go, you got to let him. And unfortunately, the player power is very real, especially at the higher level when players know their value. I think lower down the leagues, you get a little bit more leeway. But yeah. Kevin Fitz says, Steve, how mint is Shea Lacey? I was debating doing something on Shea Lacey. He's a bit younger than the ones that I like to talk about, but he is playing for the 18s now, and that's on MUTV, so I guess it's fair game. Knight says, when was the last time Liverpool had a remotely good player come through their academy? Fix your academy, maybe you'll have more depth. Ooh, Knight's there with the fucking brutal yet true assessment. Yeah, Liverpool are a team that get piped off about their academy and they're all homegrown, but honestly, in 30 years, what have they had? They've had Trent, who, as we know, is an excellent technician that has got a brilliant delivery from set plays. But that's it. Like, is he a patch of any other class of 92? No. How would I deal with the Greenwood situation? Well, you've got to make some assumptions there that I don't think it's correct for me to make. I think you have to look into the facts of it. And I think United are doing the right thing at the moment. You've got to suspend him. And then you have to wait for the verdict. I don't think you can make any decisions outside of that. If he's guilty, he never plays for the club again. If he's innocent, I still don't know if it's a certainty that he ever plays for the club again. There's something going on there, aren't there? Now, whether he gets found guilty of what they've charged him with or not, something needs to fucking change there, big way, or something needs fixing in a big way. Chris Andrew says, thanks for the code over country recommendation. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's an excellent listen. Cornish Red Devil says, thoughts on a draw tomorrow. I think we'll get Leeds, which will mean 3 meetings inside 2 weeks. Just bound to happen. I could see that happening. And they got a new manager in the mix as well, haven't they? So, no, they haven't. What am I on about? Ignore that. I don't know why the fuck I thought Leeds then. Or maybe they're going to have. Nunes was born offside. I think Barcelona in money problems again. I saw something which said Barcelona needs to get 150 million to 200 million off their yearly wage bill. What? 4 million a week off your wage bill. That's a lot of money. How big is your wage bill? Jordan says, listening to Jocko Willink's book, Extreme Ownership, and I can see the values that are similar to Ten Hag. In Ten Hag, we trust. Yes, there's a couple of excellent books on leadership. And actually, one that I've been urging my lads to read is this one. James Kerr Legacy. It's written for business, but I think the lessons that you can take out of it are just legit. And some of them are obvious, but some of them are really good. Play with a purpose. No shit. Let me find the chapters, actually. Character's a big one. Character might be the biggest one. In fact, it's chapter 1. Character. Character's massive. And when we talk about United lately, you think, what have we lacked? We've lacked in character in a big way. And ownership is one of them. I was trying to try and find where this is, and it's responsibility 4. So responsibility in the way that it's written here. Leaders create leaders. Responsibility. A lot of how this is written, Jocko would have called it ownership, because it's the same. It's ownership. And same detail. There's a lot to be learned from books like that. There's a lot to be learned from mindsets like that. Absolutely. 200 to 300 mil as per the Athletic. That's insane. Weghorst seems to be another character. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If Nunes would have signed for United, Ten Hag would get him to play well, says EPLV. Maybe. But what I would also say is we did a little bit of a scout report on him prior to him joining and did the worry with. And the worry with, I think, has shown out to be pretty prophetic. Everything that we said about him seems to be coming true with him. Wazza says, what's the book? Which one? One of those ones? What value would I put on Rashford right now? I wouldn't sell him. Mark says, talking about characters and leaders, Osimhen starting for Napoli again tonight, plays with an intensity we could use. Yeah, I think Osimhen, Vlahovic, they need to be very close to the top of any list of strikers that we're thinking about, don't we? Is The Price of Football a hard read? Yeah, I really, really appreciate what Kieran Maguire does, and I bought his book with a quickness, but I ain't going to lie to you guys. It's a fucking tough read. There's some excellent information in there, but you're going to have to put some work in to read it. It's not an easy read. Maybe it's not meant to be an easy read, but it isn't an easy read. Gavi can't be registered now because he signed a new contract. They're a fucking shit show, aren't they? What's interesting is Barcelona decided to just copy everything United did right when it came to finances, and that's ended up with them getting into this mess. Would I throw the Barca tie so we can be rested for the Carabao Cup final? No, because you can imagine the effect it has on us by smacking Barca around going forward. Danny says, Barca issues surely mean another De Jong chase. Maybe. Is Obertan still available? Oh, someone asking about this book. Yeah. James Kerr, Legacy. And it's about the All Blacks and the responsibility and ownership stuff. So they have some stuff that I've tried to implement at Paddock this season to a greater or lesser successful degree. Senior players group. Senior players are responsible for all decisions. Senior players are responsible for ensuring squad discipline and stuff. Things like timekeeping, clean changing rooms, that sort of shit. How can Chelsea spend 600 million if they buy Enzo for 120? I don't fucking know what's going on with Chelsea. Apparently Dembele is out for both of our games. Yeah, I saw that as well. That's not a bad thing. He is an absolute threat. Ryan says, Declan Rice, Levi Colwill, Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane as 4 players this summer to improve United. Don't think you're going to spend the money required to get Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham and Declan Rice. And out of those, I'd probably go for Jude Bellingham and just leave Rice for now and try and find an alternative midfielder that could do the long-term Casemiro role. Harry Kane, I'd go Osimhen and Vlahovic before Kane, but he'd probably be on the list. Anyone who's listened to me for long enough knows my thoughts on Colwill. I think he's a world-class potential. Does this mean no open-top bus parades to go with winning the Community Shield too? Yeah, because to be fair, they did win the Community Shield, didn't they? So I apologise. It's been a brilliant season for Liverpool. Would I give Howson a chance if I was Ten Hag? Yeah, actually. I think he's probably due some minutes. 5 minutes here and there is not going to hurt, is it? Can we see Ten Hag pulling out a sneaky gem before the window shuts? Unfortunately not, because I reckon you can't get hold of the Glazers at the moment. I reckon it's just ringing out and they ain't picking that phone up. It's not like you can just go meet them either, is it? Anyone see Juve and Milan got smashed out of the Italian Cup? Ooh, I didn't see that. Danny with a super chat says, Obs Ten Hag sees them in training, but so much calm and class by Iqbal in pre-season. Then Kobe at no minutes. Is it an attitude thing or a level? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I saw the same things you guys saw in terms of how good he looked. When he was playing in pre-season. Yeah. Daniel Billard says, don't mean to be nosy, but do the Paddock make money and are they going places? No. No football teams make money. Are you fucking mental? It costs me personally to keep the club afloat. Those who are members at the end of the season will get a breakdown of all the finances, where all the money goes, what costs us, and all the rest of that sort of stuff. But yeah, no, it doesn't fucking make money. Are we going places? Being fucking real, I can't say yes right now because we're on the back of 4 straight defeats. I had 16 players unavailable at the start of the week. I signed 2 players, read the rules for the cup, because you should. Every manager should know the rules inside out for the competitions that you're in. Otherwise, that's how you fall foul and end up getting booted out of the cups at a later stage. You need to know how many subs you've got, because it changes. Competitions change. How many subs? Is it roll on, roll off? Is it dedicated? You got to know the rules, right? So I had a look at the rules, signed these 2 lads on. They both got to be registered for 7 days. Fuck's sake. Both of them were in my starting 11. They impressed me at training on Tuesday. 2 lads that just rocked up. Like the look of them both. They were both going to start. In the end, I went with 7 first choice players. And we got beat 4-0. Not a good fucking weekend out, all honesty. Squid says, sweet Liverpool tears. 4 straight defeats. Call yourself a manager. I'm getting sacked in the morning. I'm not getting sacked because I'm the fucking CEO as well, aren't I? So I'm not getting sacked. But this is real, man. We're in a real league. You know, we've gone up 3 divisions in 3 seasons. There was always going to be a time when it was a bridge too far. 18 players unavailable. You tell me anyone's getting a fucking result out of that. It is what it is. As a fan, what's it like working with Rio? Awesome. He's probably more chill than he comes across on camera. Alex says, I know you don't know much on shirt numbers, but who next for the number 7? Garnacho, Anthony, Sancho, or a new signing? Probably a new signing. Do I think the door is open for Mainu since Eriksen is injured? It'll probably be Fred, I think, unfortunately. Ivan says, every time I watch Osimhen, I'm amazed how determined he is and scared about how determined he is. Dude gets injured every 30 minutes. Adam says, depending on new owners, could go for Bellingham. How is it the club willing to pay to terminate Ronaldo's contract but won't do it for Phil Jones? Don't know. Stephen says, can't even get a referee for the weekends over here. Who'd be a ref, honestly? Who'd be a ref? No. You got dozens and dozens of people just fucking giving you abuse all weekend, haven't you? Ken says, do you have links to other amateur clubs in and around the area to try and scout some Paddock players? No, I don't have the time. I just say, come to training and tell the players, if you've got any mates that are any good, bring them down to training, and that's how we get our players. Why isn't anyone up for Tillman, given everyone's midfield struggles? Don't know, but I wouldn't mind a bit of Tillman's. Notch says, Paddock's still fairly high in the league in a competitive division and played well in many games with no home ground. Yeah, I mean, the 3 games, this was a cup game that we lost this weekend. The 3 games that we had prior to this one. First game, lost 5-0, probably had 6 shots on target, played like absolute shit. Spacings was all off, the passing was off, and we absolutely deserved to lose. No qualms about that whatsoever. The second one that we lost 2-1 to a last-minute winner. And we'd had the ball cleared off the line 2 or 3 times. And I didn't think the lads deserved to lose that one. The following one, we lost 2-0. And that one, we conceded an early goal and then dominated the game. I mean, I've got the stats. We're talking... Hang on. I'll tell you exactly what it was. Absolutely dominated the game. We conceded an obvious offside goal, which having linesmen in this league is a fucking killer for those reasons. It was 106 passes the opposition had, and we had 410 passes. 85% completion for us, 57% completion for the opposition. Just couldn't put the fucking ball in the back of the net. So we've been unlucky in a couple of the results. I don't think yesterday necessarily was that unlucky. I thought it was a poor performance from a few people, just not doing the basics. You know, that's football, man. It's real. Just because we've got a YouTube channel doesn't mean we have a fucking right to win games. You know, you got to work for them. Simple as that. You got to work for the wins. And if you don't work, you know, that's that. Frustrating yesterday because I think the opposition scored more fucking goals than they had completed passes. Fucking annoying. It was like playing a rugby union team. Fucking nightmare it was. Sancho play against Forest. Not sure, you know. We'll see him soon, I'm sure. Ivan says Gravenberch would be a stellar signing. Agree. Dennis says the Irish lad up front at Brighton is a real talent. We should go for Ferguson if Marshall and Weghorst go. I think they'll go for someone a little bit more stellar in quality, but I agree he's good. Where do you begin to plan for a Casemiro replacement? We're already working on the video, so don't worry about that. Randy says, what do I think of going for Mount, box-to-box midfielder? I disagree he's box-to-box. I think he's a little bit more advanced than that. And I also think we have players in that sort of role. I think you're going to get some bargains out of Chelsea soon because there's going to be a fire sale. You can't spend like they've spent and sign the players that they've signed and then not just be a fucking load of players booting off when they just can't get game time. Napoli are under investigation for the Osimhen trial. Could be another Juve. Goddamn, really? Barcelona need to get rid of Busquets, Albert, Frankie, and a few other expensive bench players. Wow. Mr. Miracle says Ten Hag likes his players to have a little bit of physicality. Maybe that's why he doesn't choose Iqbal. Probably thinks he needs more muscle, but what Iqbal doesn't have in muscle, he makes up in balance. Same with Eriksen. It's just the exact same as Eriksen for me. John says I'd love to grab Kovacic from Chelsea. I think Kovacic would be a brilliant player for us to grab and definitely gettable as well. Ryan says Inter want Lindelof. Would I swap him for Kanaloglu? I'd probably try and keep Lindelof, to be honest, because Varane does get injured, and I think Lindelof suits being a replacement more than Maguire does. So I'd probably go with him over that, I reckon. Willie says, if I could pick one player in the world, fees aside, who would I go for? Bellingham. Would I take Ziyech, if that's the case, and we can get him cheap? If it doesn't cause problems, Anthony, yeah, I could see that, yeah. But you got to see what happens with Sancho coming back first. Otherwise, you end up in the same sort of situation that Chelsea are going to be in. You're going to have you might have Ziyech, Anthony, Sancho, all for the right-hand side, and only one of them gets to play. And that's not going to be positive for morale and team spirit and all the rest of that sort of stuff. Would I still have Saul? Yes, Saul would be fucking brilliant in this team. He's telling me he'd be worse than McTominay. Don't talk fucking wet. He'd be well better than McTominay. Jorginho could go. I think Jorginho will be one of the ones that does go. I was looking through their squad the other day and I was thinking, yeah, he might go. Because you got the like Azpilicueta and people like that. They're definitely going. So, you know. Riyadh says, thoughts on a last-ditch loan for Gravenberch this window. We literally did a video on that the other day saying the same thing. Who's from Madrid that would be aging? That would be a good signing. Well, not fucking Modric. I don't think he's aging a day. He's probably got another 7 or 8 years in him by the looks of things. Ralph says, come on, Steve, Saul would be pants. Would he? Would he put pants? Or was he just pants at Chelsea, where they've got 8 midfielders better than United? Or had 8 midfielders better than United? Gurav says, don't we honestly need a right back, backup centre-half, centre-mid, striker, and a backup right winger? Depending on what happens with Sancho, yeah, you probably need all that lot. Greg Bell says, fighting all fronts last season, Bellend played every game possible. Oh, here's your every game possible trophy, lad. You won the fucking Arsenal double, no one cares. You did bollocks all in the Champions League. You did bollocks all in the league, did you? Oh, we came second by a point. You came second. There's the headline. Go fuck yourself. Simple as. It's like, if United win the League Cup and the FA Cup this season, are you going to be like, I'm playing in every game? Shut the fuck up. Dennis says, knowing Chelsea, they offload all of their youth players like Gallagher, Hudson-Odoi, Chabla, Colwill. Definitely be keeping fucking on Colwill for sure. Have I seen the remaining home games? Nice on paper. Our home form's been excellent this season. How good would Saicedo be for Arsenal? Be a good signing. What about Reece James off Chelsea? That would be an interesting one. I think he's better with a back three, though. Liverpool played 63 games last season. In his last full season, we played 61. Ollie didn't get the exclusives Klopp is getting. Correct. Junior says, Aaron has improved a few aspects of his game, but I can't wait to see the low back. We need both. Yeah, or someone that can upgrade that position, I think. Would I bring Ragnick back as a sporting director? Me personally, yes. However, I don't think the club would. Would I take Tammy Abraham? He'd be lower on the list than the ones that we mentioned. He'd be lower than Kane, Vlahovic, Osimhen, for sure. Mike says, any plans at Paddock to open up a 9s and 10s? We might be merging with an existing junior team in the coming weeks, which would see us take over a 10s, 12s, 14s, and maybe 15s, which would then go to next season, giving us 11s, 13s, 15s, and an 18s, 17s, so first year of under 18s, which would then lead us into having 11s, 13s, 15s, 18s, 21s, reserve and first team. So watch this space on that one. Facilities is the issue. If I could get pitch space booked somewhere, I could have under sixes right through to adults in a heartbeat. Yeah. Leon says, you wish City were United. 4 or 5 titles. We're dominating English football and will continue to do so under a manager you said was a fraud and didn't want it United. Yeah, I didn't want him at United, and I still wouldn't have him at United. You signed an absolute fucking goal machine and are doing worse than you did last season and getting beat by his own fucking cone man. The guy had to spend £1 billion fucking pounds on defenders alone. I didn't want him at United because he wouldn't have got the resources that he had to have at Manchester City to be able to be competitive at Manchester City. What's he done? He retained a title, which is hard to do. I'll give him that. Hard to do. Spent a lot of fucking money to do it, didn't he? Right? What would have happened if you give Pellegrini that money? Pellegrini, who couldn't fucking hack it at West Ham, who did a worse job than David Moyes at West Ham. If you'd give Pellegrini fucking £500 million, think he would have won you a second title? You can shut the fuck up and I'll get out of the fucking face. Liam says Laird should be given a go next season. I'm not sure where he is at the moment. It's probably a bit too late for Laird, I would think, at this time. Ollie says the "we played every game" excuse is the most Scouse thing ever to say, simultaneously bragging and complaining they didn't get knocked out of competitions. John says, I think any signing for United, regardless of quality, would be good for the team, as Ten Hag knows what he's looking for and I trust him 100%. Totally agree. United haven't won a cup since 2017. Liverpool have won Champions League. Well, what they fucking do? But we're talking about Liverpool in their greatest ever fucking time in the last 30 years and United's worst ever time. You want to compare someone's best to someone's worst? Of course one's going to look fucking miles better. But here's the truth. We beat you this season, you're fucking below us. So who gives a fuck? Where do I see Ahmad playing when he's back? Yes, they've played him central rather than on the right wing, and he's sort of been drifting off into that right-hand side. I don't know. I don't know. Which of the current managers in Europe do I think are playing the most exciting and futuristic football? Don't know if I can answer that in the middle of a live stream, to be honest. Mark says, enjoyed the Laffy video. What's my thoughts on Kakare? Maybe there's something coming on him. Greg Bell says, living rent-free in your head, knobhead, as he says on a video of a United fan in the comments. Sound. United says, there's a real excitement around the club like right now, and that bleeds into the team. Agree. Junior says Klopp got rattled by a question in a post-game presser when the journalist said they fell apart. He got rattled hard, reacted poorly. Right, if you actually spend a little bit of time to watch and analyse Jurgen Klopp, he's a fucking knob. When you listen to Jurgen Klopp in when you listen to Jurgen Klopp in a press conference and he's talking about things that have just happened. Hang on, what's going on here? Ronaldo. Oh, right, yeah. Ronaldo's just sent me something and says, you have to be joking, mate. It's about Enzo. Yeah. Yep, Chelsea are buying Enzo for 120 mil. When you listen to Jurgen Klopp react to journalists, he's fucking horrible to them. And not horrible in the Fergie where he just gets angry. He's proper snide about it. Absolute fucking sausage. Would I trade 99 Keane for Casemiro on the current United side? No, I wouldn't. New owners, who would I like as director of football? Paul Mitchell. Any idea what's going on with Deshaun Bernard? Just keeps disappearing and reappearing. I don't actually know. Will we be doing a match day vlog from Wembley for the final? Yes, I think so. Under new owners. Oh, we've already answered that one, haven't we? Black Hole says clubs might start using smaller clubs as proxies and have them do the initial inquiry before snooping in with offers. Yeah, I've thought about that. I have thought about that, and I think that's something that probably could happen, actually. Willie says Everton good authority from a mate in Dortmund that Klopp used to get. I can't read that. That's why you got to read the fucking comments before I start reading them. Randy says, I don't think people get just how good Keane was. I get you had to be there. You really did have to be there. Rumours of Paul Mitchell going Liverpool. Yeah, that's been happening for a while, that, to be honest. Lee says, worst case scenario, Glazer's still there in the summer after we bottle top four. How much do we have to spend? Oh, about fucking 30 quid. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up here. Cheers, everyone, for coming and joining with us on a Sunday night. Hope you all had a good weekend. Back to the grind tomorrow. For most of you, I guess. Unless you work weekends, and in which case, yeah, that blows. But it is what it is. Take it easy. Revel in Liverpool being shit. I'll catch you lot tomorrow. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.